Yeah, look at Moneybags Alcorn with his fucking iPhone 10.
He's got a room full of gold coins he dives into at night.
I know.
It's like Scrooge McDuck, and he's, how he...
We're talking about you, Sweetwater.
Steve Tails. Woo!
Hey, DuckTales was a good cartoon.
That's Steve. He's got his fucking 3 little nephews.
Yeah. He goes to the bank to make a deposit with 2 bags with dollar signs on them.
Yep. Hey. The legend of Sweetwater over there, Steve Alcorn.
I didn't become a legend by not doing things.
Instead of going with like the whole sophisticated, like wearing the top hat and the nice clothes, he just goes fucking complete redneck cowboy look.
I don't want people to know I have money.
Yeah. So iPhone 10, huh, Steve?
Oh yeah, my iPhone.
Do you send those emojis where you fucking can make your face look like the thing or the animal?
I just got it. I don't know how to do that yet.
I think you should do that, like right off the bat, and send one to me. If
no,
I can
absolutely not.
Do that. Yes, no. I think you should, Steve.
No, because you'll use it against me sometime down the line.
For what? How?
I don't know.
Jesus.
The great emoji scandal of 2019.
No, he's upset.
I got the iPhone 10 because my iPhone 6 was outdated and wouldn't, the battery would die in like half a minute.
Yeah.
So we had to upgrade. So we got 2 of them actually.
Oh.
And an iPad.
Oh, and you got an iPad.
Absolutely.
Oh, what are you doing with that? Who got the iPad?
I did.
Oh, you got the iPad.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
She's got a Kindle. She's fine.
Oh, she's got a Kindle. She's fine.
Yeah.
Oh,
and is that your shot?
Wait a minute. I was going to say, that how?
No, she's right out in the living room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I mean, Steve, that's great that you were able to get yourself a nice iPad.
Well, it's on payments, but.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's how they do everything.
Yeah.
They don't fuck around, Steve.
They don't just hand it to you.
Yeah.
I wish they would. That would be nice.
They could. You could go out and spend the money on an actual iPad.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Did you get like armor and stuff for your phones?
Armor?
Yeah,
like phone cases and screen protectors and all that.
That's all there, yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
We go all out.
Good times.
All out, man.
Yeah.
What, like a 5-year contract or?
There's no contracts anymore.
He's in it.
In Verizon.
Oh.
He's totally in it.
Dropping the Verizon.
Well, business plans have contracts, but personal.
Excuse me.
Now you got to pay off your phone, obviously, which is a 2-year thing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be considered a contract?
No, you don't have to have phone service, but you still have to pay off the phone.
But don't you have a some sort of written obligation to pay off the phone?
To pay off the phone part of it, yes.
So that is a contract, Steve.
But to carry Verizon service, there is no contract.
Oh.
I could switch it to another service, I guess.
And then still pay Verizon for the phone.
And they'd be fine. And they'd be like, you still got a year and 11 months to pay off the phone. We're fine. We're not going to charge you anything.
Everything's hunky-dory.
But I like Verizon, so.
Yeah. Well, now that we've had this nice Verizon commercial.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm trying to get us some sponsors.
Yeah. No, I don't think that Verizon.
Yeah. Let me know when Verizon signs up with the Fortean Slip.
Yeah, when they fucking call us up and they're like, can you hear me now? Because I don't think it's going to fucking happen, dude.
Sponsored by Verizon.
No. Don't even say it, Steve.
Okay.
How dare you? How dare you?
We can't even get Bob's House of Chicken.
Yeah, we couldn't get anything. What was that shit that Richard used to do all the time?
I don't.
He used to fucking call out some fucking wacko fucking ad for some stupid shit. I was just like, what?
Why am I still looking at Facebook while I'm supposed to be on a show?
I don't know, Steve.
I just clicked it off.
I gave you all the news stories. You know,
Yes.
we are technically live.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wasn't even paying attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was. I knew we were live. We were live back before, right when we started talking about my phone.
iPhone 10 and iPad, and he doesn't know what's going on.
He doesn't have a clue. He's still saying, "I'm in the money. I'm in the money."
Which one of you other two made $782 today?
Whoa. This isn't about bragging.
Now we're throwing our stuff around, are we?
Just saying.
Legend's throwing his fucking legend around, so to speak.
We might know the water's cold, but only Steve Alcorn knows how deep it is.
That's right, gentlemen.
Just saying.
On that note, I think we should get this party started. What do you think, Steve?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Are you actually going to be quiet this week?
Or
are you going to talk over the intro like you did the last time?
I'll mute myself right now.
Oh, you don't have to mute. You can just.
I'm going to do it because I'm going to mute.
Excuse me.
I hit the mute button.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. It's very nice of you. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
Steve Alcorn's a fine investigator.
Oh, fuck off.
This is the Fortean Slip with your host, Chris York.
I don't need porn, Chris. I have a good woman.
Listen, I have a good woman. I still watch porn.
Co-host, Steve Alcorn.
You are the top shit in Bigfootery if you get the invitation.
Oh, are
I've
you?
gotten the invitation 2 years in a row now, Chris.
Wow, not me.
And sometimes special guest, Matt Knapp.
It's part of growing older, you know? Maturing. Makes me more dignified and stuff. Okay, George Washington. I opted for the...
Is that what the meth addicts say?
That make me more dignified.
Taking on all things strange since 2013.
Wait a minute.
I don't know what the hell.
Are you saying that he's pregnant?
Possibly.
Was he implanted by one of these teenage aliens?
Didn't it happen to Arnold?
This device, which comes as part of Nintendo's Quality of Life initiative, is to...
He's going to have
Quality
kids
of life.
running around banging their heads off bricks.
Yeah.
You're about to witness the strength of creep knowledge.
Good evening, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. This is episode 72, Cryptozoology Follies. Steve,
Yeah.
do you remember the old football Follies videos?
Oh, yeah. Those were great.
Those are the best. Where you watch them fuckers just fall and trip over one another and fucking smack their heads off shit.
Yeah.
All the baseball ones. Those were the things you look forward to.
You got the free video with your subscription to Sports Illustrated
God damn it. Yes, Matt, with the win.
and the football phone.
Oh, the
Damn
football phone.
Skippy. Those are the
I wonder
best.
what the football phones work nowadays. I'm going to look that up.
Jesus Christ. Seconds in, Matt. Seconds in.
I'm sorry.
Hey, I was thinking
You're not sorry.
we might need to start treating Mr. Alcorn with some respect.
That's right.
He's going to put a hit out on us, man.
That's
I
right.
know. Mr. Alcorn.
Got the
He's
cash now.
He's like the Jeff
rolling in the
Bezos of
dough.
Ohio.
That's right. Taking Amazon by storm, Steve Alcorn.
That's right. Don't you forget it.
They call him Steve the Storm Alcorn. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You're talking to a fucking rock star tonight. Steve Alcorn just rolling in it with his iPhone 10 and his iPad. How's it feel, Steve? Tell me. Tell me what it feels like to actually.
Well, it's the truth, man. To be holding that little.
Tell me what it's
screen
like
in
to
your
succeed.
hand.
I need to know, Steve. I need to know.
It's a lot of responsibility.
It's not a kid, Steve. Come on.
Dude, I finally.
he's like talking to Peter Parker. Chris, son, with great power comes great responsibility.
He sets himself down in front of the mirror. You've
Doggone
reached the
it.
age that all men reach where
No, it'd be more like the Saturday Night Live skit. Doggone it, people like me.
Listen, it's a long road, but I worked hard to get here, and he tries to act so modest and so amazing.
Hey, I'm finally to a point in my life where I can say that I've done something good, and for myself.
Jeez.
Something good. What do
I
you
hope
think?
your children don't
You
listen
just
to this
fucking
show.
buy your stairway to heaven, you fucking jackass.
What?
You sold some shit on Amazon.
Yeah, and I feel good about it because it's an income and it's good income, and that's
Steve,
what I'm saying.
Steve, good on you, man. Good on you.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
right.
glad.
You're just jealous.
No,
Give you a
I'm
lot of
glad.
shit, but I'm very
Listen,
happy for you, man.
You're probably the one giving me the thumbs down on my videos.
I've known you since back when you worked at the cardboard factory, dude.
Oh God.
You know, I knew
Those were the
I knew the broke Steve Alcorn.
That was the struggle.
Yeah, the struggle was fucking real, dude.
That's right, man.
I know broke Steve Alcorn.
Trust me, I'm still broke. Just at a different level.
I miss broke Steve Alcorn.
I
Matt, do you concur?
Yes.
Yeah, I have to disagree.
Now he's the king of some green castle in Ohio.
Right.
and-
It's all perspective, Steve. It's all perspective.
It's all right.
It's the storyline in perspective.
Yes.
Okay. It's
This is the beginning. You hear the tone in his voice? This is where he's forgetting the little people.
That's right. See, we're at that crescendo at the end of the beginning of the story. This is where Steve has his great fall, and then the story starts all over again. And then he has to build himself back up.
And I will.
And see, let's listen to him. Listen to him, Matt.
He's going
Steve
to crush us
Alcorn.
under his boot any second.
That's right.
Can I get you a coffee, Mr. Alcorn?
Absolutely.
Fucking, that's where he's headed. Listen to him.
Hey, just I guess you're jealous. I get it.
I'm not jealous, Steve. I'm happy for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to be jealous. I can just be happy for my friend. I can give you shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that is also part of my job as your friend, I think. Maybe not in your eyes, but it is for me.
What'd you throw out there today, Steve?
Huh?
What'd you say? You made $700 and something today?
Yeah. Well,
Tell us more,
okay.
Steve.
See, that's not jealousy, Steve. Jealousy is there's a guy that at some point today will turn on a web camera and make 5 digits in 1 hour playing video games. Those are the people I'm jealous of, Steve.
Okay.
Good for you for making $700. That's awesome.
And you fucking humped for it, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, there's
4
kids,
days on the road.
literally kids playing video games that are millionaires.
Well, I'll do that next.
I doubt it.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
if you want to try, Steve, I would love to see that too.
Some old dude
I'd watch.
playing a video game and feeling
there's
miserably.
old dudes that do it too. They just don't make
Steve in
millions
his
of dollars.
cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Oh
even-
God.
Playing Frogger on ColecoVision.
You know
Oh,
what?
that would be
Dude,
cool.
If you could set yourself up in some type of quasi steampunk fucking, rig that you're videotaping yourself from while you're playing your video games, I swear to God, you would rule as king.
I should
You
do
would.
it. But I don't like video games.
Steampunk is so fucking hot right now, and the look you have with that goddamn fucking cowboy hat, you put a little bit more work into the whole steampunk look.
Mhm.
Oh, could you imagine that, Matt? And you know what I'm talking about, don't
I'm
you?
afraid to.
I know, aren't you?
You're just afraid that I'd succeed.
What?
Nobody's
What?
against you, Steve.
Who the fuck swelled his head?
It's not my head. It's my pocket.
He's all defensive.
What? Take down on the competition. Jeez, go get yourself a little redheaded orphan or something.
I know.
Yeah, I think I need one.
Jesus,
And a
damn.
pet
Oh,
monkey,
oh.
huh?
Fucking hell. What was this fucking guy there? Punjab?
Yeah, Steve's gonna buy an exotic animal on the black market.
Can I hunt rhinoceroses too?
Steve, I'm sorry to break up this fucking Steve love fest. The legend of Sweetwater. You and your fucking many exploits. But we do have a topic for this evening.
We do?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, there is a topic. Matt and I conferred earlier without you.
Yeah. Well,
as we often do.
Yes.
Because usually you're sleeping or you're busy out there humping to make that dollar.
That's right.
You know, so I mean, I know what's going on with the Steve Alcorn life. Listen, Steve,
you don't
it's
know
a hard knocks life for Steve.
It's
a hard knocks life.
Hey, have you guys reached that point yet where you see something and you have that moment that we all made fun of as children, but you have that moment where you're like, when I was a kid.
Yeah. Well, give us an example.
Yeah, I kind of like got the road you were going on, but it seems like it fell short.
I was trying to be nice about how I was saying it. I wasn't saying.
Well, I'm just. I mean, I
literally laid it all out.
No, you didn't. But okay.
Okay. Have you reached that moment in your life?
Yeah.
Right.
That we used to make fun of as children.
Right.
Okay.
Where you think to yourself, when I was a kid.
But when I was
that's a yes or no answer right there. That's the end of it. Like, that's the question. I can't.
But what am I saying yes to? That I reached the moment.
Have you had one of those moments when you see something and you think back, like, man, when I was a kid,
that was
dot.
Oh, like when I was a kid, I had to walk a mile to school, uphill both ways, type thing.
Times were harder. Times were more difficult.
Oh yeah, I've reached
challenging. I saw it, the whole point being, it's ruined now. I should just drop it.
No. You can't.
No, we
need to completely deconstruct it at this point.
Okay, so I was watching TV and a commercial came on for a board game. I guess it's not really a board game, but it's a game, like a family game.
Yeah.
And basically, you lay out a plastic mat on the floor, and you try to avoid stepping on fake piles of dog shit.
Yes,
that sounds fun.
Yes.
And I'm like, dude, whenever I was a kid, that was called walking through my fucking yard. Like, I had to avoid stepping in real piles of dog shit.
Yeah, no shit, right?
And like, what kind of game? Why is that fun? Like, avoid the piles of dog shit.
I don't know. It sounds fun to me.
See what happens whenever people get rich and they don't know how to spend their money.
That's right. They lose all sense of understanding.
But Steve was kind of eccentric before the money.
Steve, have you started taking off your shoes when you come into the house?
No, I do not do that.
It's
I want to remember.
We have a few.
I came from
Matt. We have a few steps away still.
Yeah,
we're
still savable.
There's still time.
There's still a little bit of stuff going on. You know, maybe when they move into their next house.
Well, we're thinking about moving, but we won't talk about that.
Oh, geez. No, it's hard. Next house, Matt. I swear to God, no shoes in the house.
Yeah.
Swear to you, it's happening.
The house that they're having built.
That's right.
We're not having a house built.
I'm
still a cheapskate.
Green siding, man.
It will have green siding. No.
And a green metal roof.
And green. Well, yeah, we actually want a green metal roof on this one.
See. Matt,
he's just preparing for the future, Chris.
Do I know how to call it or what?
He's going to switch over to VR and then just use his entire home as a giant green screen.
If I were to
change it every time he walks into a room, like
if I was broadcasting from the other room, it's the same color as a green screen.
You could literally fucking put anything behind you.
Steve's moving into the fucking holodeck.
Oh, that would be cool.
You should totally do that, Steve, for an episode.
That would be cool. I might have to. I did have my old guy moment this week. Remember back in the day? I didn't lose you guys, did I?
No.
Oh, okay. You just went silent.
I just wanted to give you the uncomfortable silence that you gave me.
I was reading a menu in a restaurant, because I can afford to go to restaurants now.
And you kept moving it back and forth, trying to see it.
But you remember the day when your granddad or some older guy that was with you wore a pair of glasses and then he put the glasses up higher on his head and just sat there with him for the rest of the meal.
Yeah.
I did that. I did that.
You feel bad about yourself now?
I do. I feel old. Because you had to raise the glasses up to read the menu because you're afraid to get bifocals. So you're in that stage where you don't want bifocals because it makes you look old. So you throw your glasses up on your forehead, which makes you look old.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Steve, if it makes you feel any better, I bought some reading glasses.
Ooh.
If it makes you feel any better.
Welcome to the club. I did too. I don't use them, but I did buy them.
I mean, I have to figure out a more appropriate, power.
You suckers.
Fuck off.
I just have one of the kids read the shit to me.
This is one of those times where now I'm like actually seriously considering switching to a Kindle. For reading books, not so much for collecting. If I was to continue collecting, but for reading them because you can change the font size.
Hey,
Steve, fucking laugh all you want, you prick.
I've had Kindles in the past, man, and that whole like paper technology that they use.
Yep,
it's legit, man.
It's amazing.
Just like reading a book.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
So, and I mean, I like the feel of a book and everything, but it would be much easier for me to just be able to increase the text size.
Yeah,
rather than wear a set of glasses for it. But we'll see how it goes.
You can read in the dark because it's illuminated.
Yeah, it's all good. So, the topic at hand tonight. So, I know that Matt absolutely adores. Matt has a special place in his heart for it, Steve. The Oklahoma Octopus.
Ooh, yeah.
Big fan. Huge fan.
It comes from a state. It's his hometown cryptid.
With pride.
I remember when I used to do the show with Skyla. We did an episode on the Oklahoma Octopus, and I think Matt popped a fucking gas.
Yeah, dude. Vein in the forehead.
I was just like, "What the?" He's like, "Dude." And I am, of course, we've always been a skeptical bunch of chaps, as they say.
Who says that?
They, Steve. They.
He told you already.
I shouldn't have to repeat myself, Steve.
I'm sorry.
You should be. You should be.
I am.
And as the money keeps rolling in, send some my way.
I did. I bought a shirt.
Oh, that's right too, Steve. You're good. You're a good man, Steve. You're a good man. You're a good man, and you should be getting your shirt shortly.
Yes, it was shipped today.
Yes.
So for those of you who ordered a Fortean Slip T-shirt, they should be on their way.
They should be on their way. So yeah, I mean, I knew Matt had a special place in his heart for the Oklahoma Octopus, so I brought it up to him today. And we started going down a road. I forgot the other one that you had mentioned, man. I remember the Chupacabra, but there was something else that you had mentioned.
Oh, Slender Man and the
Rake. Slender Man, yes, the Rake. Okay. So these things... So going down this idea, and starting with the Oklahoma Octopus, these things that... these sort of cryptozoological follies, these things that weren't a thing at all, that became a thing. Do you know what I mean, Steve?
I do.
Do you follow where we're going down this train?
I think so. I do.
I haven't lost you yet.
Oh, no, you lost me.
I know you're over there just counting your fucking money. You got steady hands, Mr. Hooper, from counting money your whole life.
I don't know what that refers to.
Jaws, Steve.
Oh. I was thinking it was... what's the one with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd?
No.
He had real nice hands and...
No. Trading Places, Steve.
That's it. Yeah. No. That's what I was thinking.
No.
Sorry. It's a good movie.
So's Jaws.
Yeah. Go ahead with your cryptid shit. Let's go.
Go, Steve. I'd thrown it to you.
Oh. What am I supposed to say? That there's a cryptid that I think is a folly?
Matt.
Oh, jeez.
Matt. Oh, God.
You know what we're talking about, Steve.
Listen, I could draw you a fucking map and you'd still get lost.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe.
I mean, I know the argument, of course, is there for non-witnesses who would say, yeah, all cryptids are things that didn't exist that somebody just made up.
Yeah, true. Oh yeah. Well, here's another thing that I've been toying and debating with recently is this idea that people can be overly and too skeptical. There are skeptics out there who they have the skeptic's fucking Bible, and they look at everything through a skeptical eye, and by doing that, they they allow no room for any type of growth.
Right.
And then there's the complete opposite, which are the believers who believe everything. And I'd like to think that I'm somewhere in the middle, but more towards the skeptical side. But I, have that room for belief. But yeah, it's just weird how these things come to be.
I mean, you have some things, study a lot of monster stuff. And you have like the folklore behind the monsters, but there are some things like we'll go with I don't know, Bigfoot, where you have the lore coming from Native Americans, but then you have other people claiming to have seen them without knowing that lore beforehand. You have different people around the world claiming to see them. So to me, that seems more solid. But then in my own lifetime, I've seen numerous instances where the origin of something can absolutely be traced back to a specific point. It was not seen before that point, and you can see where it was created. And now it has become a thing that people claim to witness, to see.
Right.
And that's what we're talking about.
Such as Slender Man and...
we had started out with the Oklahoma octopus.
Right.
Okay. Which is the idea that there's this octopus in a lake in Oklahoma.
Right.
Correct, Matt? I'm not wrong about this.
You are not.
Well, there is no ocean in Oklahoma.
Right, correct. Oklahoma is a landlocked state.
Right.
There is no salt water.
Yes.
Yeah. So lake is probably the correct assumption.
Freshwater lake. There's also saltwater lakes.
Freshwater. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, and Matt knows the genesis of this creature.
Yeah.
The idea, the story behind it, which I had not really known. So,
well, that's the thing. It became like such a big thing. I mean, Oklahoma octopus, it holds in people's heads, and they just ran with it.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing missing is witness accounts.
We just went with it.
No, it was part of a fictional television series. I believe it was called The Lost Tapes.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yes, I've actually got some information up on it now.
Oh, cool.
Just so that we can get
according to Wikipedia.
No, this is not. Well, this is a wiki, but it's a cryptidsfandom.com/wiki.
Oh.
Oklahoma octopus. The Oklahoma octopus is a cryptid generally said to inhabit some freshwater man-made lakes of Oklahoma, including Lake Thunderbird,
more special,
and Ulaga Lake Ulaga. And
thank you for pronouncing that correctly.
And Lake Tenkiller.
Yeah.
where it attacks and kills unsuspecting swimmers.
I mean, of course. What
That's
else
right,
would an
it
octopus do?
kills them, motherfuckers. There is no existing footage of it.
Of course not.
Although no physical evidence exists in the case of the Oklahoma octopus.
And
Many point to the high mortality rate and large number of unexplained drownings in the Oklahoma lakes as a clear sign of its presence.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There have also been numerous reported sightings.
Sounds like somebody was.
One I'm a little bit iffy on.
Sounds like somebody was rating like a certain author's books about missing people in.
Oh, I like this part of the page. It says, Steve, excuse me.
Yes, go ahead.
It's down at the bottom, Matt. It says, controversy. Due to the lakes being man-made, the drownings are most likely the result of people getting drunk.
Well, why does being man-made?
I would concur.
Well, I agree that it's probably getting drunk, but why would that correlate with being man-made lakes?
Okay, first off, Oklahoma has an exuberant amount of lakes.
Right.
I mean, Oklahomans are lake people, and that's how we spend our holidays. That's how we spend our summers.
Lake people?
We are lake people. We're lake folk.
Is that like a different type of person?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
it is.
All right. We're lake folk.
Lake folk.
We're gonna go see the lake folk.
I mean, even
come, children.
My family had a lake house. I spent every weekend of my childhood there.
Yes, my family had a lake.
Not drowning or being pulled under.
Not drowning or being pulled under
by an octopus.
I've never heard a story of it.
No.
Never met anybody that saw anything with tentacles. I mean, maybe I was just unaware of it. But anyway, the point being is, there's not really a large amount of drownings beyond a point that would be expected whenever you do have like thousands and thousands of drunk people on the lake in a weekend. Yeah, somebody might fall in and drown.
Yeah.
Well, I was relaying earlier. We have a large lake in southern Maine, Sebago Lake, and they've been debating for a while now because there's been an infestation or an overpopulation of, I think it's a bass, a certain type of bass or something, and they want to introduce a bull shark into the lake. Yes, it is. They've actually been debating it.
What?
Yeah, to stem I'm dead serious.
Children.
Yeah, and this is like a public lake. I was like, dear Jesus,
people will die.
Like, this is how horror movies start.
Yeah, that's literally how the whole shark thing started. Like, Jaws was based on that happening.
And guess what? Now you're going to get even if they don't do it, because they probably won't. But if they don't do it, now you're going to get shark sightings in those lakes, in that lake. You watch.
You watch, Chris.
Yeah,
and that's
I'm gonna watch. Hey, listen, when the legend of Sweetwater speaks, I listen, Matt.
Well, it's the same with the octopus. People are going to be looking for a reason why people are drowning in a lake or something, when it's probably very natural or common.
When I see an octopus, it's usually in a hentai video.
But the fact that these are man-made lakes means that the octopus. How did the octopus get?
Let's be clear about a man-made lake. Okay, it's not like a giant fishbowl or a swimming pool that's been filled with water.
A man-made lake has to be a certain size to be considered a lake, as opposed to a pond. So it has to be pretty big,
right? But the actual lakes mentioned were like dammed off rivers and creeks that just flooded the area,
right?
And that's how they created the lake. So there's like full-grown trees and stuff under the water for people to get tangled up in, and I mean, there's all kinds of reasons that people drown, other than an octopus. And on top of that, it's not the ocean; it's a lake. They're not anywhere near the same size. They don't have anywhere near the same amount of food sources. So if there was an octopus population in Oklahoma lakes, they wouldn't be big. They would be little. So they're not going to be big enough to like drown a person. You would just swim to the top with the octopus stuck to you.
Somebody would have had to introduce the octopus into the lake in the first place, being that it is a man-made lake and not a natural.
Yeah.
It's like a vampire.
So like, baby sharks or baby alligators in the sewers in New York City or whatever.
It needs to be just introduced.
That kind of thing.
Right. Somebody had a pet octopus that
flushed it.
Yeah.
Who's going to dump it at the lake? 10 years later, death.
Yeah. Death and destruction.
No, I suppose it could happen.
Well, listen, we attribute strange and supernatural things to death
right
throughout history. Locally, we have the Saco River. There's a legend of the Saco River that because the white man killed, a couple of one of the chief's kids or his wife or something like that, that there was a curse put on the river that would take so many white people every season. And as kids, when we were growing up, we were told this exact fucking, legend. And, every year it was going to take, I think it was like 3, because that's how many were drowned. I actually did a bedtime story on it. And the legend is, the legend does actually exist. But it was like the legend of the white monkey or something like that. Yeah, it gets like really funky and so it's right, that funky monkey. So it's strange how we attribute like all these supernatural things to things that just probably happen. Because everybody, I can remember every year, oh, well, just took another person, so that's number 2 for the year on the Saco River. And we just attribute it to these fucking crazy, wacky things.
Well, another nail against the Oklahoma octopus is one of the lakes you mentioned, Tin Killer, is actually pretty famous for scuba diving.
Yeah.
And nobody's
seeing any octopuses down there.
Yeah, no scuba divers have died.
Hey, they are pretty camouflaged animals there, man.
Yeah, they can change colors and all that.
Okay, let me ask this question about the octopus then.
Mm-hmm.
If it's attributed to so many drowning deaths, the octopus is.
It's not.
Okay, I'm just saying. No.
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody's being found with suckers on them, Steve.
That's what I'm saying. How many documented cases have people been recovered from this lake that have been attributed to the octopus drowning them, have sucker marks on them, or whatever it is that, octopi have? None. 0. You can't find a documented case of that, correct?
There's no documented case of it even being suggested.
So that's
like
easy to
other
debunk.
Than the wiki article
Columbo Alcorn over here.
Other than the wiki article that Chris just read, there's been no deaths attributed to an Oklahoma octopus.
Yeah.
But yet there's been thousands of deaths attributed to the Oklahoma octopus. According
to that fandom
no,
site.
thousands. It's just a lot. There's been a lot.
Never read a news article. Okay, here. A couple years back, on Leslie's side of the family, there was a drowning where they go and the family's lake house or whatever.
Oklahoma octopus?
Damn octopus.
Nobody suggested an octopus.
Huh.
It was never mentioned. Usually the drownings actually happen on the Illinois River, which is a popular destination for rafting, and it's due to all the brush and stuff underwater and the heavy currents.
Right.
In the lakes, the drownings usually happen when people are drunk, like Labor Day weekends.
Wait a minute, so they were
that.
right on that article?
Yeah, dead on.
Ooh.
And whenever the lakes are flooded and there's like a lot of brush and debris and stuff underneath the water surface that you can't see, that people get like tangled up in.
So you're saying there's zero physical evidence for the existence?
There has
of
never
octopus.
been,
Okay.
that I'm aware of, any sort of media agency putting out the theory that an octopus was to blame for somebody drowning in Oklahoma.
Debunked.
Wait. So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance. There's always a chance.
What would happen to an octopus if you put it in a freshwater lake?
It would crawl out and die.
Yeah, because it requires salt water, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Steve.
There are no
they
freshwater
genetically
octopus.
engineered a freshwater octopus, Steve. It's going to kill you. Yes.
I'll Google it.
And it's going to turn into a land-dwelling creature as well, and then it's going to kill us all because octopus are the coolest fucking thing on the planet.
They are pretty cool and smart.
Yeah, and they'll kill us all if they could go on land. We'd be done, Steve. They come for you first.
Well, probably.
Yeah. They don't like people who sell shit on eBay and Amazon.
Jealous bastards.
They don't like it. I don't know what to tell you.
Uh,
Maybe they're just smarter than the rest of us.
I think they
According to ABC Science on the internet, ask an expert.
Ask an expert.
are. Oh, yeah, that must be really
Cephalopods. Cephalopods. How do you say it?
Cephalopod.
that way. Sure.
I was right the first time.
Yes.
Yes, you were correct.
Are not found in freshwater. While we can't be 100% certain, it's unlikely that there have ever been freshwater cephalopods. Says cephalopod expert and head of science at Museum Victoria, Dr. Mark Norman.
Aha.
It's all due to osmosis.
Aha.
It is probable.
So you're saying there's a chance.
They never developed a sodium pump that would help them cope with osmotic change in fresh water.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
A damn sodium pump.
I think there's a chance that there could be an Oklahoma octopus now, Matt. You may have just fucking turned me.
Well, because the expert said he can't be 100% certain there's not.
That's right. There's a chance.
There is a chance.
There's a chance, Steve. I think we need to get on the Oklahoma octopus. And listen, I mean, I am a firm believer that you need to be in the camp of your hometown cryptid.
I think so.
Like, I think that's important.
I believe in the frog, man.
That's right. Is that from?
I live in Ohio.
Loveland, Ohio.
That's right.
That's right.
There's also one called the Grass Man.
Well, that too. I have to believe in that.
Steve's got a slew of them because he's from Ohio.
Yeah.
You know, he can't, like, Steve has a hard time. He's got a lot of flags he's going to fly. But you, Matt, have the
one.
Oklahoma octopus. And I think that you need to get on this bandwagon now.
I mean, we've got Bigfoot, Dogmen, like
Yeah, but
all
those
these
aren't
native, the little people in Native American folklore, a bunch of other Native American stuff that I'm not going to say because it's bad juju to say it.
Yeah.
But we get
Bad
coined
juju.
with the octopus because a TV show. had a
Ladies and gentlemen,
story.
and I won't stay too long on it because he doesn't like it. But I want to because he just said bad juju. I would like you all to know that I had to talk Matt down so that we could do a show on spontaneous human combustion.
Oh, I love that.
Why are you saying it? That's how it happens. Now I'm going to be thinking about it.
Because he believes if you talk about it, it happens.
It's just a theory that's out there.
But yet you don't believe in the octopus.
Back to the topic at hand. Oklahoma octopus, go.
Doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you're from Oklahoma, so you have to believe in it. So Matt agrees that it exists. Chris and I believe it does not.
Now I'm feeling hot.
Oh, God. Holy shit.
You got to sign an application when you move into Ohio to believe in the frogman and the grassman. So I'm assuming there's such a process.
That's right. Steve's all in with the frogman.
I went through Loveland not that long ago.
I mean, he saw
Good
a
stuff.
frog come to life and
That's right.
jump across in his room. So he's on board with the frog man.
I think that was a sign of things to come, really, now that I think about it, because then I moved to Ohio.
And now, frogman.
Yeah.
Frogman. I'm down. I understand. I
Mhm.
get it. I get it. But that kind of brings us to the other cryptids of the evening, which are follies. Yeah, Steve, we gave you a list.
I didn't get a list.
Did I need to write it down?
Where's my list?
For the love of God and all things holy. The fucking power of Christ compels you, Steve.
If you wrote it on the back of a dollar bill, you'd know it.
Jesus Christ.
I would have spent it already.
So, Slender Man.
Oh.
Slender Man, which we all know was nothing more than, was it a Reddit thing?
Yeah, creepypasta.
Yeah, it was a creepypasta, fake fucking story. It all stemmed from a picture. Just a fucking picture. A photoshopped bullshit picture. And a little girl got stabbed by two of her friends because they believed in this creature that now we have horror movies about and documentaries on. The fucking Slender Man.
It's crazy.
It is outlandish.
Insane. I just thought I'd throw my hat in the ring.
Wow. Nothing, Steve. No.
You guys were all coming up with adjectives.
I'm glad you're on board, Steve. I really am. I'm glad you're here with us tonight.
I'm here.
Glad you could make it.
Well, I have time for the little people still. For now.
Oh God. I mark that, please.
Yeah, Slender Man.
Yeah, Slender Man.
Oh, Slender.
And in this thing, this creepypasta became this sensation. And I mean, here we are. And there are people now that still believe it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they're fucking crazy.
Well, you almost have to be. Or is it?
We all grew up with urban legends, and as kids, we believed them.
Yeah, as
kids.
Hell
yeah.
Okay, so now replace, the playground with the internet, and kids get on there and they read these stories and they think they're real. They don't study them. They don't get older and like, well, I'm going to research that more. They believe them. I don't think you have, I could be wrong. Shit, what am I saying? I would like to hope that there aren't a lot of adults out there that think Slender Man is real.
Yeah.
That it's mostly younger kids that grew up reading the stories and believing everything they read on the internet.
And then, Matt, you go on a fucking flat earth forum.
And then you go on a flat earth forum, which was literally debunked hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
Hey, they're going to Antarctica to fucking find that ice wall. They're going to fucking find Game of Thrones.
They're going to do it.
I really hope they do.
I hope the White Walkers come over that motherfucker.
We're almost there, guys. Welcome to Canada.
Oh, shit. I almost choked on my coffee. You fucking prick. Oh, shit.
But Slender Man's not the only thing that, was created that way.
Yeah, but it's common knowledge. Even, anybody.
It's common knowledge, but a lot of things are common knowledge.
I mean, they tried to summon the evil powers of Slender Man by stabbing their best friend.
I know, and I understand maybe at the beginning, and that how long has Slender Man been around? 10 years, maybe.
Not even that, I don't think.
Okay, so it's not been that long. So in the beginning, I can understand why maybe some people might have thought it was, but nowadays everybody knows that Slender Man. You should know it's been published everywhere that Slender Man was just a thing that was a creepypasta thing. It shouldn't, but people still want to believe it. Or is it the fact that people think that it was spoken into being because the internet thing? You know, that kind of thing. I've
mean,
heard
I'm sure there's all kinds of justifications for it, Steve. The fact of the matter is it came out of nothing. It came out of a whimsical fucking photograph, a story, a made up bullshit cockamamie. You know, it's nothing.
Well, I mean,
and then it becomes this huge something.
After a little bit of Googling, Slender Man was created in 2009.
Okay.
The stabbing occurred in 2014.
Oh, so it was 10 years ago. I didn't think it was that long ago.
But whenever you look up Slender Man, I mean, the first thing that pops up is a fictional supernatural character that originated as a creepypasta internet meme.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's the first thing that pops up.
Yep.
You have to ignore that. If you're searching the internet for a Slender Man or whatever, you have to ignore that in order to find something that agrees with your theory. You have to ignore the very first thing that pops up.
And I wonder how much of the search results changed after the stabbing.
Well, I'm sure that the search results changed after the stabbing because of the stabbing.
Because now it's like, the first thing is, Wikipedia, of course, supernatural character. Then you have a thing on the film. Then you have Slender Man, know your meme. Slender Man is a mythical creature. Then you have the complete history of the Slender Man meme. Then you have the original creepypasta. And then you have Slender Man, an internet phenomenon. And it goes on, like pushing the point that Slender Man is not real.
It's just a government conspiracy.
Yeah. That's what it is.
I think so.
This happens, though. That's the thing, is it happens. Things are being created on the internet, and people are believing that they're real.
When they're clearly not.
You have, recently, my pet peeve is the Rake.
Yes, I wanted to segue into the Rake.
Sorry.
No. Perfect. And you and I were talking earlier about the Goat Man, because they have now a Goat Man video game where you can go on a hunt for the Goat Man. And I thought it was funny because I actually own the Rake video game where you can go on the hunt for the Rake. They also have a Bigfoot one too. But yeah, so
can you also hunt the shovel?
You can, and the hoe, and a few
other.
I've
always been hunting hoes.
And other implements of farming destruction.
But I mean, the Rake was created the same way. I mean, it's a fictional character on creepypasta. It's just a story that somebody wrote. And now you have like YouTube videos and eyewitness accounts, people claiming to have seen it. And it's just like,
Oh, there are whole YouTube channels that make buco. I don't know how much money they make. I'm sure they do very well. And they do a lot of fucking stories about the creatures like the Rake and the Oklahoma octopus and the Slender Man. And I know one of them I post quite regularly on the blog. And that's Darkness Prevails. He does a lot of stuff like that. A shit ton of stuff like that.
Well, I told you recently that I was talking about a person I ran across who said that they had witnessed, some strange things. So I contacted them. Hey, what have you encountered? And the person was like, "Oh, I've encountered, multiple things. I've seen Bigfoot, aliens, UFOs."
Oh, yes, I remember this one you were telling me.
And they said the Rake. And I'm just
the Rake.
How did you see something that? I mean,
Yeah, and you run into a lot of these people though, dude. And Yeah, it goes back to that thing I was talking about before. There are people who are too skeptical, and there are people who believe way too much. They believe to the point of not. It's not ignorance. It is, but that's not the word I'm looking for. But it's just, and I don't want to say just downright crazy. I mean, there are some people that are downright crazy, but then there are other people that are just, crazy isn't the word to define them. But it happens, and it's a phenomenon with people. People want to believe in things. People want to believe in the supernatural, the strange, and the weird. And we fall prey to it.
Not me.
Bullshit. You do.
But I'm see, that's where I'm, kind of torn.
But you do. You have this. You have this thing in you that's like, yeah, there are these strange occurrences, but a lot of this stuff that we see is just horse shit. And a lot of the stuff that we hear is just horse shit. But how do we sift through it?
That's the thing. All these things are just muddying the waters even more.
Yeah.
To the point of, it all gets lumped together, and then you just have a big old pile that you're trying not to step in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about right. But I mean, what do you do? Do you just completely give up on having any hope or belief, or do you just keep persevering? I mean, the one thing that I've found from doing this, from having this thing in my life, week in, week out, in the show is only one day a week, but I do the blog and I do all kinds of other things, so I see this stuff all the time. And it is that you get jaded from it because you see so much crap. It's very rare nowadays where I see something and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. You just don't see it that much anymore. Or I don't get that feeling anymore. I don't see it, I don't run across those things nearly as much anymore. Where if you took me back 20 years and showed me these same videos, I'd be like, oh, whoa. But
people have turned into these kind of like abused animals. You're talking about skeptics and being skeptical and how people cross the line. And especially in the Bigfoot world, there's all kinds of people that claim to be skeptics, but really all they do is just attack anybody that claims anything.
Yep.
Unless you've got hard physical evidence that you witnessed something, they're just going to attack you. I mean, they tear into these people. And these people over time have become really defensive. So it's like, imagine, a dog that's been abused by its owner and then it ends up at a shelter. It's hard for another owner sometimes to adopt those animals because they're, on the defense. They think that you're going to try to kick them or hurt them or something, so they defend themselves. And I've seen the same thing happen in the Bigfoot world where the most recent thing was, some hard proof came out that somebody was hoaxing. I shared that information and I was attacked for it because people didn't want to believe it. They wanted to believe the person. They didn't want to believe that they had been duped or lied to, or and
it happens often.
And it happens often. And now you have this case where people are just accepting everything and doubting nothing just to try to win the fight against the skeptics or something. It's really weird, but I've seen it happen.
It works the other way too.
Yeah.
So the skeptics want to win the fight, the believers want to win the fight, and then the gap gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
But there shouldn't be a fight.
There shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I mean, a skeptic, should not believe something based on claims, but still have an open mind to accepting evidence. And a believer should be open-minded enough to accept evidence against something.
I think it's more people get tied to people, where you were saying
with the groups.
Right. Well, you were saying you put out evidence that this person, I don't know who it is, but was a hoaxer. But the people who follow this guy or lady or whatever didn't want to believe it. So they're just going to believe everything now that person says, and everything that you say is horseshit.
Right.
Even though you're right on it. It doesn't matter to them because now you've shot their hero down or whatever.
And people don't accept photographic evidence anymore or video evidence. They don't. It seems like nobody understands that, photos are easily manipulated. You go to the movies, and you see, these huge blockbuster special effects movies,
Wait a minute, the Hulk's not real?
Right. And they see the Hulk.
So the Bruce Banner Hulk is real. Anything after that's fake.
Okay.
The
David
the TV
Banner
show,
Hulk.
David Banner, whatever.
Fucking Christ.
But I'm saying they see these things on TV, and I sometimes wonder, like, okay, so do you think that all of that's real? Because whenever somebody presents it on the internet and not attached to like some form of like major media entertainment, you just accept it. Like these people are, sometimes there's special effects guys or, CG guys that do it as a hobby and are excellent at it. Photoshop, hell of a thing. You can make some pretty interesting images and people just like accept it as being real.
Mm-hmm.
It's not helping the cause any.
Yeah. And, you've got people who present false evidence too. We've had that happen.
A lot.
Sure.
Yeah. So it runs the gamut, so to speak. And it's always going to happen. The problem is do you get completely jaded and give up, or do you just keep sifting through the bullshit? That's the question. I think for the most part, there's a lot of these creatures I think we can just like fucking throw out the window. Like I think a lot of this stuff, like the Oklahoma octopus, like that's why I said this is cryptozoology follies. Like these are things that they probably never should have been.
No, not at all. Chupacabra.
Yeah. Let's get into the Chupacabra.
The king of the cryptid follies.
And it's too bad we don't have the Chupacabra hunter anymore.
It is. It is.
Bobby Dominguez.
Good old Bobby.
Good old Bob. The Chupacabra hunter. But yeah, the Chupacabra, which we've had a love-hate relationship with on this show. We've brought it up many times. We've done stories on it, news stories. We talked about it. But when it comes down to brass tacks, the original Chupacabra story goes back to Puerto Rico.
Yep.
And I can't remember if it was a male or a female.
Was a woman.
It was a woman. Okay, it was a woman who had the original encounter.
Yeah, we have a patient zero for Chupacabra.
Patient zero. She's the little outbreak monkey. Saw after seeing the movie Species, which is about an alien creature, sees this thing and describes it. And the original description of the Chupacabra is not this hairless dog-like thing. It's much like the creature in Species.
It's exactly like the creature in Species.
Yes, Steve. I was trying to be gentle.
Well,
you know what I mean, Steve.
Yes.
Okay. So this story is obviously traced back to this, and it's obviously just a woman who just saw something that was exciting and then saw something that she couldn't quite explain or couldn't see quite exactly right and attributed it to this thing that she saw in the movie. And here we have the Chupacabra. Now we have people, fucking with hairless dogs and raccoons and shit. It's crazy.
Again, not a one shred of physical evidence.
Is this a Chupacabra?
Yeah.
Is this here a Chupacabra?
Every time you've seen a documentary on the Chupacabra, they'll bring out a dead coyote or something with no hair. And, you never get the results from that. And the reason is because it doesn't exist.
If you ever had Chupacabra stew, you might be a redneck.
If you can trace the origin of a cryptid to a false story, then it stands to reason that most of the stories, if not all of the stories, are going to be false.
Well, in the case of the Chupacabra, nobody had ever seen one or described one prior to her.
Right.
Right.
And if you can
why
trace,
do they show up so much in Texas?
Well, because it's so close to Puerto
Yeah,
Rico.
they're coming up through South America and crossing the border.
Oh. I
didn't
know they were South American. I thought they were Puerto Rican.
Oh man, you're gonna get me in trouble here. It's a
they're good swimmers.
No. It's a social thing as in a certain society. I don't want to mislabel them. But
Texans? You don't want to mislabel Texans? Just saying.
Texas don't give a fuck, Matt.
The word Chupacabra
means Texas?
Is not an English word.
Okay. What kind of word is it?
I don't know. Puerto Rican, apparently.
That's not.
I'm just saying, like with that culture, it follows the culture.
It
the
does.
Stories of it and the fear of it follows the culture, and that culture is in Texas a lot. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Without offending anybody?
Oh no, I'm sure you offended somebody. But
I'm sure I did.
You offended everybody.
But you can trace the origins of that particular cryptid back to a very definitive starting point. And it turns out to be pretty improbable, made up story based on a movie. And same with Slender Man and all that stuff. So if you can trace the origin of, did I say origin right?
No.
Origin? You can take, if you could trace it back to something like that, then you know that every story after that's got to be false. It's got to be.
What about the never-ending story?
Oh no, that was great. That was some good shit.
Atreyu,
yeah.
That's right. Falcor. I know me some fucking never-ending stories, Steve.
How come we don't have flying dogs?
It wasn't a fucking dog.
We do if you throw
It was a dog. It looked like a dog. Falcor was a
I'm
dog
sure
dragon.
we can make Bill's dog fucking fly.
Falcor was a fucking luck dragon, you asshole.
But he looks like a dog. He looks like a dog.
Yeah.
That flies.
Yeah.
How come we don't have that as a cryptid? That would be cool.
Flying
I'm
dog.
sure we do.
Yeah. Steve, this is one of everything. Come on now.
For example, I was saying that if you can trace it back and all that shit, Bigfoot, we can't really trace back. There's been stories for hundreds of years, Native American, even back farther than that with other things, So you can't trace the origin of that. So
Right.
To a false story, but you can trace the origin of a lot of these cryptids to the original story, and it just turns out to be a made-up piece of bullshit generally. So that's my point.
Well, whenever you have like the name of the person that created it in their head and wrote the story, it's a pretty cut and dry case, I think.
Yeah. And I think we should. I think that these cases should be looked at with the skepticism that they deserve, and especially in these cases. Like, I mean, There's stuff that should be given, it should be given its fair due. And then there's other things that are given way too much skepticism. That maybe the skepticism should be backed off a little bit. I mean, yeah, look at it skeptically. Absolutely. But don't be so skeptical that you won't accept anything.
Well, as a Bigfoot witness, I get angered quite easily.
Right.
At the non-witnesses or whatever you want to call them for being overly skeptical. And like one of the things that I got pissed off about recently was I was reading an article about Bigfoot where the author of the article was saying things like, there's absolutely no evidence at all supporting the existence of Bigfoot. And I'm just like, is that really fair? I mean, I get, what people say, but like, stories and witnesses, like Steve said, we can't trace them back. They've been existing forever. Like you have hundreds of sightings every year from all over the United States, North America. You've got all these giant footprints. They're not all fake. They're not all misidentifications. You've got, the audio recorded, hair, a little bit difficult, but there are some hair samples out there that people can't readily identify, that scientists haven't been able to say like, oh, well, this is for sure this or that. I know people I worked with sent in hair that couldn't be identified. You've got the DNA argument, of course, but as long as there's not a Bigfoot on record, you're never going to match its DNA. So they need to work around that problem first.
Yeah.
But like, I would consider that a fair amount of evidence.
Well, I think with the Bigfoot quote unquote phenomenon, I think that there is enough eyewitness testimony to say that even if a fraction of a percent of them are true, then that's crazy,
right?
And you do have some sort of physical evidence, might be circumstantial in some cases.
I'm pretty sure I said the same thing about the Bill Cosby victims.
Only one of them has to tell the truth.
Even if a fraction of
you have some evidence that
then Dr. Huxtable was fucking. Hey, Steve, did you ever think that it was kind of weird that Dr. Huxtable was a gynecologist and his office was in his basement?
At the time, no. Now that you mention it, yeah. That is true.
Okay, continue, Steve. You were onto something. You were
I wasn't. No,
you were. No, Steve, you were. Come on.
No,
Steve,
I'm just saying. With Bigfoot,
you're the one that stays sober. So come on.
With Bigfoot, we have some sort of evidence. It may not be the best evidence in the world, but there is some evidence out there that such a creature may exist. Yeah. With the Chupacabra, we have no evidence. I mean, the best.
These things, you've got dead animals.
Yeah, and every one of them has been proven to be something else, like a coyote.
Right, and the thing is, like with all of these things that we've talked about tonight, you have a beginning. Excuse me. You have basically that patient zero. Like with the Chupacabra, you have the actual person who gave the first sighting report. These other things, they came from creepypastas. The Oklahoma octopus, just fucking bullshit. It doesn't amount to anything. And that's why I said these things, yes, they should be looked at with that harsh skepticism, that criticism. But, does it need to happen with everything? And do we need to destroy everything, every bit of evidence? No.
You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to say that in the show for a long time. So I finally got a
congratulations.
Yes, I'm so happy for you.
Everything can be argued. Yeah. Every bit of physical evidence, anecdotal evidence, circumstantial evidence, all of it can be explained away. That doesn't change anything.
Yeah. Yeah. But it like I said, you take a fraction of a fraction, just a fraction of a fraction, dude. If that's what's true, it's still crazy. Like, then there has to be something. What is it?
There has to be. What is it? Why doesn't it warrant real scientific inquiry? Why doesn't it warrant investigation? Why doesn't it warrant maybe acceptance or
Right.
declassification if it is known? Like, why is it being covered up? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't understand it when it comes to that. I've never understood why it's all these armchair researchers, especially when when it comes to Bigfoot.
Yeah,
it's just all, we've had these discussions many times, but and I think a lot of that has to do with these types of creatures, like we've talked about tonight, though, where there's so much of this blind belief in these things. And they just destroy the credibility of the other things that surround them as they get tied in. And the people get, everybody gets lumped in together.
right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just those crazies that believe in the crazy shit.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Like, I don't know how many times I've told people in my family, I don't necessarily believe in Bigfoot. I'm very skeptical. I think it'd be great that if there was something out there, but I don't believe in Bigfoot. And when they introduce me to people, it's like, this is Chris. He believes in Bigfoot.
I get the same thing.
Even
though it's fairly well known nowadays that I'm a skeptic when it comes to the subject.
And it's just fucking, it's hilarious. Because it just, it's funny to me. At this point, it's laughable because I'll be like, I don't know how many times I have to explain to you guys. I don't subscribe to it that way, the way you describe. I don't. Fuck you. Anyway, but there's a mentality around any type of belief or interest in these things.
I think once it got lumped into the sum of anything, gets lumped into the sum of cryptozoology or paranormal or anything, it's very hard to get real efforts behind it to discover the truth.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the whole reason science doesn't want to look at it, because at this point it is still in the realm of cryptozoology, and it may always be there. We don't know. And same with, UFOs and things like that.
You just need to get some crazy motherfucker like Elon Musk to fucking start looking into it.
Or even,
who's the guy that runs Virgin Airlines? Who's that motherfucker?
I forget.
I can't think of his name. Matt will probably pull it out of his ass when he unmutes himself or wakes up.
Richard Branson?
Yeah,
that guy. See? Told you he'd fucking pull it out. I fucking told you.
But I think...
Get one of them motherfuckers on the Bigfoot case.
We used to have one. His name was Tom Slick.
I swear to you, you get one. No, you need a fucking goddamn Elon Musk. I say this to piss off our former producer, Richard Allen. We need Iron Man.
We do.
Well, you need something, somebody in a high level of something to get involved, and then maybe it'll be more taken more seriously by science. But as long as there's no call to find it.
But I do think that things like the Oklahoma octopus, the Rake, Slender Man, these things cheapen the things that hold any credibility or hold any water.
Of course.
And then you're left holding what? Nothing.
Shit. A bunch of sand slipping through your fingers.
That's right.
You said something that kind of made a lot of sense. Now, when you get introduced, this is Chris, he believes in Bigfoot. Well, to a scientist, that's not something that they want to, be introduced as. If they start looking into things like Bigfoot or ghosts or
there's a stigma with it. And I've talked about this many times before too, about how you aren't going to see many scientists who are big into the Bigfoot or cryptozoological phenomenon because they don't want that stigma. They don't want the bullshit.
Right.
You know, I've said many times, you know, I've talked about the Robert Schoch podcast with Joe Rogan. You know, here's this guy who's talking about real things that he's gone out and researched, and he's done his due diligence and his work, and because his findings have come back different from what the narrative is over in Egypt, he's been ridiculed and threatened. And I mean, and this is about something that more than likely is true.
Right.
Well, also whenever it comes to scientists, I mean, you know, if there's like a company, let's say a food company or however it works, a distribution company, wants tuna, they pay fishermen to go out and catch tuna. The fishermen don't go out there and go crab fishing and come back with a bunch of crab.
Right.
They won't get paid for it. Well, that's how science works. Scientists are funded by people. They're paid by companies.
You have to have some sort of backing. Yeah.
Right. To do specific things. That's their job. Nobody's paying them to go look for Bigfoot, because Bigfoot's not going to make any company a bunch of money. It's not, you know, a cure for cancer. It's not, you know, a leap ahead in the medical industry or food preservatives or something like that. Now, what we need is a rich guy who doesn't give a shit to like put together a team of scientists and say, look, I'm going to fund you.
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah.
Real scientists, not the type of, I mean, there have been people who've been funded to go out and do this, but they're not real scientists. They're just people like me and you who are enthusiasts.
Where Bigfoot's just a hobby.
Right.
I wasn't going to say that, but yes.
Oh.
So, yeah, there has been money behind it, but not to the right people. And I think if you did have money behind it to the right people, I'm not saying it would be discovered, but the chances go up exponentially at that point of it being discovered, because the right people with the right tools doing the right thing will, you know, you can't tell me that some guy who has a regular job, everyday job, can go out there and put the time in to do proper research. It can't happen.
To look for big feet.
I mean, you put a lot of time into it, Matt, but
and a lot of money, and I had to like stop because I reached a point where it was like,
but you didn't. But at your level, you didn't have the proper tools or even the proper time or anything to do the right job.
You got Captain Ahab'd.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to insert people. I mean, the right team of people into an area, and they're just there. And that's all
SEAL
they
Team
do.
6?
Yeah.
Well, for a very long time, too.
For a very long time.
Because right now, people who go out for any cryptid or even UFO guys or ghost hunters, they go 1 day or 2 days or a week, and that's it.
That's all you
because that's all they can do. Well, no, it's not all you need. Not to prove a phenomenon.
Find everything. Monster Quest.
Monster Quest it.
You find all that shit.
Oh, Monster Quest, they fly in.
You say, well, we didn't find anything, but that doesn't change the fact.
They fly into a forested area in a helicopter, scaring off all the freaking wildlife. You know, that kind of thing. I mean, I
got this idea where I'm going to blast techno music and shoot off fireworks and see if they react.
They're going to react. They're going to go the other way because you're foreign to their area. You know, to get acclimated. How long did it take Jane Goodall to get acclimated with, gorillas and stuff like that? It took a long time. It wasn't an overnight thing.
And she also had local natives literally leading her right to where they lived.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the only way.
For the record, she thinks it's highly probable that there is a bipedal ape in North America.
I don't know that she thinks it's highly probable.
Yes, she does.
She thinks it's possible and would be cool.
She said based on sighting reports.
I'd have to go back and read her exact words, but
I don't care about her exact words. She was friends with some Bigfoot people I know, and she's a believer.
And that's great.
There you go,
Privately.
Steve.
We need
She's not going
somebody.
to put her, name on the line for it, though.
We need somebody like her to go out and do it. Not just her. It would have to be a team of people, but
Dude, she's pretty old.
well,
Yeah.
obviously,
I don't think we
not
want her,
her.
Steve.
Not exactly.
I don't think we're
her.
taking fucking.
And
Jane
that,
Goodall
but that's what it's
to
going to
this
take to
point.
discover the truth of the matter. And then if they find nothing, then we're still back at square one. But if they find proof, then we can move on to the next thing.
Then we Jurassic Park this motherfucker.
That's right.
Yeah. That's what's going to happen, Steve. You find that cryptid, it's going to go just get it and put in a cage.
Absolutely.
And it's going to go wild and climb up the Empire State Building.
Somebody's going to get their fucking arm ripped off. Some dude's going to run after it and say, clever girl. It's all fucking going down, Steve. That shit is happening.
Which side of your hand is the water going to run down, Steve?
I guess they don't know that reference either.
Jurassic Park, you fuck.
I didn't watch it.
What? You never saw Jurassic Park?
I've seen clips.
Oh my God. Dear God.
Seen
God in heaven. Dear God in heaven, Steve.
Sweet baby newborn Jesus.
Why does it have to be newborn Jesus?
Because that's the Jesus I prefer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is also a movie reference, Steve.
Oh. See, I didn't even know that.
I know.
On that note, gentlemen. Steve, you got any news?
Oh, still no news intro. I see.
I'm going to surprise you, Steve.
Free time.
I'm going to surprise you, Steve.
SACB.com. This is a ghost story.
Oh, wait a minute. We have an update, Steve. Before you start the news.
Okay, go ahead.
We have an update. Matt, one of your favorite people. One of your absolute favorite people is in the chat tonight.
Ooh.
Oh.
And we've learned a little something about him.
Okay.
Mr. Ryan Redding.
Oh, Ryan. Hey, what's up, man?
Mr.
Good buddy Ryan.
Good buddy Ryan. Is that bingo, Matt?
Bingo.
Listening to the 14's shit.
Oh, really?
Yes.
14 shits?
Yes.
Got it.
He's got
14 in Oklahoma, the meth addicts go to the casino, not bingo.
That's right.
Can I continue with the news?
Sure.
Or are we just going to talk about Ryan Redding the rest of the night?
No. We're gonna go back to the news, Steve.
Right. And that's one of Richard's favorite. I don't know how Matt feels, but
I did see where he had posted a new Bigfoot video that I skipped over.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Deanna Jackson Stinson was having a car problem, a really strange car problem. It wasn't anything mechanical, though. It was her dead ex-boyfriend, Alex.
Why are you reading it like it's porn?
I don't know.
Like, am I supposed to be aroused by this story? Tell me ahead of time.
Alex was haunting the GMC that Stinson drives.
Between her legs.
She felt his hands on her legs and stroking her hair.
Speaking of which, did you ever hear that 8-track porn?
No.
She caught a glimpse of him through her rearview window, sitting in the back seat, smiling. Eventually, the GMC was repossessed. Alex seemed to fade into the background, but Stinson still believes he's present, regardless of the car. If I just asked for him, he would still be there, because he had that protective quality about him, Stinson said.
Oh, I thought it was a protective coating on the car.
The experience with her GMC, that was bad, led Stinson to Paul Dale Roberts, a state worker by day.
How about that True Coat?
An esoteric detective by night. The group Halo Paranormal Investigations conducts ghost hunts, investigates paranormal activities, and performs blessings and cleansing rituals. I actually lived in a haunted house when I was a child, says Roberts. He's been fascinated with the paranormal ever since. My path led me from being a military cop to military intelligence to becoming a paranormal event investigator.
That's the
sounds like
usual
The
path.
hell of a
That's
path.
logical. His path also led him to Stinson. Soon they were ghost hunting together. And on the April 24th, blood moon, they were married.
In a hand binding ceremony.
Almost 5 years later, Roberts and Stinson are still hunting ghosts together as they did on a recent sunny weekend in Sacramento.
This journey is going to end at a psychological facility.
The first stop was a private resident near Sutter's Fort, home to the Miles family. Julie Miles was home along with two of her kids, Samantha and Aaron. The family has lived there for 9 years, and the place was always haunted. Just not this bad. Hanging on the walls are religious symbols, pictures of Jesus, the sweet baby Jesus, newborn. Yeah, crucifixes and rosaries. I'm a practicing Catholic, Julie said. I go to the church next door. Julie brought...
I go to the church next door, Matt.
Julie brought in a priest to bless the house, but the haunting got worse.
He wasn't allowed within 300 feet of the church next door.
Things were flying off the shelves, she said. The apartment has 2 stories. The bedrooms are upstairs. But everybody sleeps downstairs. If they sleep alone in their rooms, they get attacked. Julie says things go
By the
up and
priest
down.
next door.
Maybe there's more to this story than we're hearing. Julie says things go up and down the stairs, but I don't get a lot of detail. Samantha has plenty of details. She can see several different entities, which she says look like the black silhouette of a person. We call them shadow people, Samantha said. Some of them crawl up the ceiling. Others just stand there and watch. Roberts and Stinson
in the corner.
All those the creepy people at the gangbang.
Roberts and Stinson have already investigated this location. We got scratched. I got pinched, Stinson said. She is the co-owner of HBI with Roberts, as well as a psychic medium for the group. There is definitely a dark, aggressive force here.
Ooh.
And it goes on to detail more of their supernatural.
Their hijinks.
Their hijinks and yeah.
SacB.com
if you want to look that up. Oh, here's a good one.
Let's see who this really was.
Creepy, scary UFO sightings reported in Texas in 2019.
Bobo.
This is from mysanantonio.com. That's funny. My San Antonio?
No.
Hilarious.
No, Steve.
Oh, the Bobo joke?
Yes.
Oh, okay. In the minutes leading up to 2019, someone witnessed fiery orange lights flying soundlessly at a low altitude near San Antonio. And that was just the beginning of numerous reports of unidentified
New York City.
Unidentified flying objects spotted in Texas skies this year. 3 months into the year, there have been at least 24 reported unidentified flying objects reported throughout the state, according to the National UFO Reporting Center. The reports range from seeing strange lights to crafts hovering above people's cars and houses. And that's the whole story.
The craft has been seen hovering near cheap motels.
That was a great story, Chris.
Yeah, you're the best, Steve.
That was the whole story. There was no more to read.
I know.
I thought there was more.
I'm on it, Steve.
I was already, ready to read reports of these sightings and all that stuff, and nope, there wasn't. Just 24
if there's sighting reports in Texas and some kind of UFO.
And for the best story of the night, this is from the
All right, go on, Steve.
NewYorkPost.com. New York Post.
The Post.
The Post. The Post. If you smoke marijuana, you're probably full of shit. A new study from Spain found that street marijuana is likely to have an alarming amount of poop on the plastic packaging it comes in.
Yeah, buddy.
You start over.
If you smoke marijuana, you're probably full of shit. A new study from Spain found that I made that part up, by the way. A new study from Spain found that street marijuana is likely to have an alarming amount of poop on the plastic packaging it comes in. A stunning 88% of ganja packets, I like that word, had a dangerous amount of
Do you,
doo-doo on
Steve?
them. What?
You like ganja?
Just like the word. It sounds
You
fun
like
to
some
say.
ganja, do you, Steve?
I like to say doo-doo too.
Steve, I think we should get high when I come down.
No.
Yeah. Take some dab hits. Do you have a porch?
I have a porch, yes.
Do you have a
You like
porch you can
gummy
sit
bears?
on?
What's that? What were you saying, Chris?
Like a porch you can sit on.
Yes, it has a nice green porch swing on it.
Oh, we can sit on the porch swing together, Steve.
That's
Me
not
and
going to
you.
happen.
Me and you.
Ain't happening.
Oh.
Not even close. Anyway, this is all according to Forensic Science International, I believe, out of Spain. They said this pot is not suitable for consumption and should be considered a public health issue because it carries E. coli bacteria. The germ, when ingested, can cause diarrhea, stomach cramping, nausea, and vomiting, according to the Mayo Clinic. Have you had any of those symptoms, Chris?
No
Okay,
symptoms
good.
of that.
So you're
good.
Weed on the streets of Spain, Chris?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I don't go there to buy my weed.
Well, it's imported.
And I smoke dabs, Steve.
Well, I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care what you
Continue.
smoke. It might have shit in it.
Oh, yeah, good.
Just saying. Study researchers believe the excrement
Wait a minute,
laced dope.
I don't smell any shit, Steve. No.
Study researchers believe the excrement-laced dope comes from smugglers who swallow small baggies of the drug to avoid being detected. Moroccan dealers wrap the weed in
drug
plastic.
mules.
Yes.
Who's muling fucking weed?
I don't know.
And in a small amount like that?
Jesus.
So they wrap these in little plastic baggies.
So in Spain, they got to worry about poop in their weed?
Yes.
Oh.
Maybe
Anyway.
that's what was wrong with that one bag.
Steve.
Can I finish my story?
You're fucking on to something, Matt.
I figured it out.
You're fucking. God damn it. Mystery solved. Steve, we gotta get back in the mystery machine. We're done.
Moroccan dealers wrap up the weed in plastic acorns, quote unquote, or small blocks and ingest it, only to take a laxative and expel or shit out the package when it arrives in Spain.
That's how it works.
It's not heroin.
I don't care. Maybe they got to shit out the weed in Spain. I don't know.
They don't even smoke weed.
Yeah,
well, they must smoke some.
they're smoking some weed, man. Some Chiba.
While only 29.4% of the weed in blocks had poop on them, a whopping 93% of the acorn-shaped weed baggies were covered in crap. The scientists explained that the acorn shape is easier for the body to swallow and then discard. Unlike cigarettes, joints don't have filters, meaning there is no protection from any of the contaminated particles.
Great.
And that, fellas,
I think you would notice if you bought a bag of weed covered in shit.
well, they clean it off. It's the remnants of the shit.
How does it get inside the sealed bag?
Osmosis.
I don't know. When you touch the bag, it gets on your fingers.
I'm going to say this is anti-weed propaganda.
In Spain.
In Spain.
In Spain.
Spanish anti-weed propaganda.
Those Spaniards.
Put out by the Moroccan government.
That's right. They don't want you to have street marijuana.
My name is Inigo Montoya. I shit on my marijuana.
Like
Prepare to die.
Drug dealers sitting on the toilet while they make up bags.
It's like a little factory.
Yeah.
Put it in the bag, swallow the bag, take a laxative, shit it out, put it in the bag, take a laxative, all that over and over again all day long.
Good time, Steve.
You probably hire, illegal aliens or something to do it for them.
Who doesn't love that shit?
Anyway, fellas, that is the news.
Well, thank you, Steve. That was some enlightening shit you brought to the table tonight.
No.
Happy for you. You and your newfound money bags.
I'm not
your
that
riches.
rich.
Your riches.
I'd like to state that I have nothing against Ryan Redding, and I am in no way claiming that he's a meth addict.
Allegedly.
Are you afraid of getting sued or something there, Matt?
For
Maybe.
what?
I don't know.
I didn't
He didn't say anything bad.
Well, yeah, it's because you put the disclaimer in there. You have to put the
You said
disclaimer.
something about meth addicts, and I you have to think about it. Some people might construe that
Oh, yes.
As a slight,
to
I construed it that way.
as a
Yeah.
slight at Mr. Redding's bingo habits.
Yes.
You
So
know.
is that what they're calling it nowadays?
Sure. That's what we call it. But anywho, Steve, thank you. Thank you for all your enlightenment.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And on that note, this has been the Fortean Slip, episode 72, Cryptozoology Follies. If you like this shit, hit the little thumbs up button. If you don't, hit the little thumbs down button. Leave a comment, subscribe. Check out Matt Knapp, our buddy over there in the corner, at youtube.com/bigfootcrossroads and his new channel, Cryptid Tales. Check out the blog of Richard Allen if he even does anything with it anymore. I don't know. The link's below the friggin' video. And he also does on Facebook, if you can find the page, Bigfootin' with Keith and Colin, his comic strip. I'll try to find get the link and put that underneath the videos so that you guys can find that a lot easier. Check out our good friend Bob, old Phil Poling, at Parabreakdown, youtube.com/Parabreakdown. And as always, check out our good friend Dred Funn at dredfunn.com and youtube.com/Dred Funn. Now, I did not realize this, Matt. I do put the link below our show every time on YouTube, but I don't say it. I don't promote him that much. But Gene St. Jean, you know who we did the interview with years ago. I share a birthday with his wife.
really.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. But anyway, Gene St. Jean, I do the link below the show all the time. But I will. I made mention of it on one of his posts because he had posted happy birthday to his wife. But I share birthday with her. But anyway,
I share a birthday with Leonard Nimoy, but he's dead.
Look at you go. Anywho, on that
You
note,
want to say his name right?
Rick Dyer too,
by
the way. Go ahead, finish the show.
Yeah.
And Melissa Hovey.
Jesus fucking Christ. Are you done?
Oh no, there's some more famous people, but I won't get into the list. Go ahead, finish the show.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you all next week. See ya.